Hey everybody, this is MyCollectables coming back with another video. I want to talk about what I think is the most important comic book that we have on Veve today. This is my opinion only, so I'd love to hear your opinion as well. Please comment down below after you've watched the video and let me know what you think, because this is just my opinion, but I'm going to back it up with some nice stats and facts and talk to you about why I think this particular comic is the most important that we currently have on Veve. Now, this is July 12th, 2022, so this could change depending on what we get in the app, what comics come. There's a few comics that we could get that would supersede this one or go above it in terms of importance, but not right now. I think this is the most important one that we got, and I'm going to tell you about it all in just a second. Now, if you like the video after you watch it, hit like, that would be great. And like I said, comment down below, let me know your opinion, right? And also, you can join my channel as a member or subscribe to my channel. Then you can come back for more videos. That would be awesome as well. And you can follow me on Twitter. My link is in the description of all my videos, and I will follow you back there, and we can continue the discussion, right? For sure. Anyway, let's get into this. So how do I do this criteria for the most important? Now, the most important comic doesn't have to be the best comic or the most valuable comic. It, to me, has to be one that has huge significance, especially moving forward. And some people on the Veve app, some of our users may not understand quite yet why this comic should be so, is at the level that it is. But that's why I'm making the video, is to let you know. It also has to have future value for sure, like going up in my opinion over time, and it has to be a key first appearance in my opinion. Usually those are the criteria used for a really important comic, and the most important one I think is really crucial. Now let's get into this for a second right here. Now some people might ask me or might comment and think that I'm going to say Marvel Comics #1, and this is a very important comic on Veve. It's the first comic that we ever got on Veve, and it's really important for sure, just for that reason alone, and the fact that it's, such a rare comic in the real world, right? But this is not the one that I'm going to pick as the most important, and because it doesn't have like key first appearances or future stuff coming for it, it's just a historically significant comic, which I think is absolutely incredible, by the way, if you own it. But I'm going to talk about a specific one as well, right? So let's get on to the next one. Some people might think that this Avengers 8, because I called it the best comic on Veve, this, in my opinion, is the best comic we have because of the edition sizes, the price, the first appearance, the time period, the in real world value, all that stuff make it the best comic, especially the price in Veve that you can get it at right now. That's why I called this one the best. But this is not the most important comic moving forward, because even though Kang is the first appearance that I think is crazy and amazing, is going to be like really important for the future, it's a villain. And I like my important comics to be about heroes, because they keep on making stories about heroes and the villains are always coming in and out, right? So this one right here goes for about 175, but that's not my pick as well. And some people might think that this is the most important comic, the Fantastic Four #1, which is super crucial, super important, especially in Marvel Comics, one of the most famous comics in the world. Lots of first appearances, the Fantastic Four, but the one I got, I think, is more important than this one, if you can actually believe it, in the Veve app, right? Now, this isn't in the real world, but the comic I'm going to show you also is gaining super importance in the real world. It might be the most important comic for people to get their hands on right now, because some of the sales are showing it, right? This is in the real world, so it translates into the Veve app as well. So which one is it? Well, we don't have this one. Amazing Fantasy 15. This could become the most important comic if we get it in Veve. But the reason I'm showing this is we don't have this, obviously. And there's no announcement for it yet. But the reason I'm showing this is because this is a first appearance of Spider-Man. And this actually mimics or ties into the comic that I'm going to show you as the most important we have on Veve. Because this is probably one of the most important comics in the entire world, especially right now. Okay, it is super famous. So which one in Veve is kind of like this? It is literally the ultimate Fallout 4, the first appearance of Miles Morales. Now, this particular one, and I'm focusing specifically on the secret rare here, okay, which I do not own, and I desperately am trying to get to, but it's very difficult because the price vaults up and then comes down and vaults up, but I'll get there eventually. But this particular version, the secret rare of Ultimate Fallout 4 with the first appearance of Miles Morales, is to me the most important comic that we have on Veve. And the reasons are this, okay? This is pretty simple. It's a first appearance of Spider-Man, all right? And I know it's not Peter Parker because we don't have that one yet. If we get that one, it will be bigger than this, right? The Amazing Fantasy. But right now, this is the biggest. And this is for a few reasons, okay? Let me just get into this for a second. The secret rare goes for about $2,000 right now, so it's pretty undervalued. And I hate saying that word, but it definitely is, because only a few days ago it was $2,700. But there are a few people who are flooring it, so you know if you could pick one up, fantastic, right? But the reasons are this: it's a first appearance of Spider-Man, and this particular Spider-Man character, Miles Morales, it's not Peter Parker, so it's not a reboot. He is a new character that came out. This comic came out, I believe, in 2011, all right? And it has slowly become, over the first few years, very important. And in the last couple years, it has become absolutely monstrous in the real world. Now, just so you know, 2 sales of this particular comic as a secret rare, this cover right here, okay? The reason I'm bringing the secret rare is because this cover exists in the real world. The variations also exist. But as this cover at a 9.8, okay, this one, there's only been 2 sales this year in the real world of $40,000 US each. All right. Now, that might not last. They'll probably come down, and some people will then, obviously sell for a bit cheaper. But this comic is not being sold right now because people are holding on to it because of what's going to happen with Miles Morales. This is the beginning, okay, of the next big Spider-Man character. Miles Morales, he already had his show, right? His animated film. It won an Academy Award. It was absolutely crazy and beautiful and amazing. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And they have a second one coming. But this comic is picking up steam in 2022 because we are waiting to find out who's going to play him in the MCU. And, what's coming up in the next week or two, it's San Diego Comic-Con, on the July 21st. Now, this is July 12th, okay? And they usually do big announcements, and people have been gearing up with this comic in the real world. Now, in the Veve app, people they like this comic. We know it's a good one, but people don't quite understand the importance and significance of this. This is right at the beginning of another chapter of a Spider-Man character that's going to be played and talked about for years and years and years to come. So, what other comic is like that? All right? The Amazing Fantasy 15 is the same exact kind of comic as Ultimate Fallout 4. It's the same kind of thing. Now, they're not on the same level. Amazing Fantasy 15 is one of the greatest comics in the world. But this comic right here is becoming so really important. It is just like this. It is like its mirror, but in modern times, if you ask me. Now, like I said, I don't own this comic, okay? I don't own the secret rare, and I'm desperately trying to get to it, right? But it's basically Amazing Fantasy 2.0. And when they make the announcement of who is going to be playing Miles Morales in the MCU in live action, it is going to be really big, and that could happen at San Diego Comic-Con coming up because that's where they make giant announcements. Now, this one right here is the first appearance of Spider-Man. It's basically a part 2, the first appearance of Spider-Man. It's not Peter Parker. We've had tons of those stories, and the Ben Reilly, the clone of Peter Parker, that's another first appearance of Spider-Man, but not on the same level. This is a completely new character on the cusp of having the next 50 years of stories told about him, and you can get your hands on the first appearance in Veve, right? Now, if you can get your hands on this in the real world, congratulations at any level, just a raw copy, or if you want to get a 9.8 at 40,000 or any of those ones in between, you can go look up the stats on them. If you get your hands on one of those, it's kind of like an Amazing Fantasy 2.0. Now, it will likely never reach the heights of Amazing Fantasy, and that's totally okay. But it is super important in this app. And if you can get your hands on it, it's great. Now, it's not the best comic that we have right now, the actual overall comic, because, there's 21,000 copies of the common. And, the rare is probably the best rare comic that we have that cover. But the secret rare right here, this one is unbelievable, you guys. It has a standard number of 600, so it's not the same, the comic that I put as the best comic, which is Avengers 8 with Kang. There's only 250 of those, right? So the rarity does factor in. But this one is so important, you guys. There's in real world value, character development, and future importance. Now, I really want to know what you think about this. Do you own one? I own one common of this particular comic, and it's a low mint, so I'm pretty happy. I'm trying to get to the secret rare. Let me know what you think, right? Now, like I said, Comics become grails over time, and this one has become, in the last couple of years, the prices of this one in the real world have skyrocketed and the sales have diminished, all right? So you just do the math, check it out, let me know what you think. Are you going after this comic as hard as I am? Because I'm definitely going after the Secret Rare in particular, if I can get it, right? Like I said, I don't own it, and I desperately want to, right? So let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video. Happy collecting.